Holy cow, that tax lien disappeared from my credit report. Does that mean that it's not there anymore? Does that mean that I can purchase a home? Well, maybe, maybe not. Thanks for joining me today. This is George Anderson. This is thecreditjungle.com, and we're discussing all things finance. And today we're just going to discuss a little phenomenon. It's actually a little old now. It was April of 2018. But the credit bureaus quit reporting civil judgments and they quit reporting tax liens to the credit bureaus. So some people who might have had that, if you've got credit score monitoring, you might have seen that, well, wow, my credit score went up. Well, we talked about it in a previous video that the existence of a judgment or a tax lien, we didn't get into the judgment so much, but a tax lien specifically does not prevent you from being able to get into a home. But if it's not on your credit report, how would the lender ever find out about it? Well, there's two additional things that the lender gets in addition to the credit report that are indicators of credit worthiness. One of those is the title report that we would get from a title company, and it's going to do a search of public records that are going to be filed in the county in which you're purchasing the home. Does that mean that you could have a judgment in another county that's not going to show up on the county that you're purchasing the home, and you could get away with it? Yeah, it does mean that. But does that mean that you're always going to get away with it? Well, not really, because part of some of the changes that happened with the mortgage meltdown back in 6, 7, 8, there is that there were some additional measures taken to provide, I guess, a little bit more thorough information. So there are some additional services out there, data verify, that are kind of like LexisNexis type reports. And they will pull up information that wouldn't normally be found on a public records search and might not even be found on a credit report, but it finds out some very interesting information. It'll find out if there's family members, if maybe another person in the transaction is related to you, every address that you've ever had, if you've owned other property, even if you were just placed on title to it but you never had the mortgage in your name. A lot of these things will show up on there. So it's important to understand that just because a lender pulls your credit report and tells you that you're good to go, that may not mean that you're 100% good to go. And I even had a transaction where I was a little bit embarrassed about it because we thought everything was good on it, but we ended up having not IRS tax liens, but we ended up having a payment plan, and then there was actually a lawsuit going on. And so it wasn't real evident what was happening with everything. And then come to find out that the taxes for the current year, 2019, had not yet been paid, nor was there a payment plan being worked out on that one. So that one kind of got a little icky and a little ugly on it. But normally what we try to do is we can, these fraud reports, they're expensive, and we can run those. But as a borrower, if you know that there's something lurking out there, the best way to deal with it is just kind of be upfront and honest about exactly what's going on, because chances are it's going to show up sooner or later in there. But just because those tax liens and those judgments are not on your credit report doesn't mean that we don't have to deal with them. But the good news is that the underwriting guidelines have become very flexible, or they always have been, for people who have those debts and they acknowledge them and they've been on a payment plan. So that's just more good news and less excuses to keep yourself from getting into the housing market. So thanks for joining us. You can push button Get Mortgage Professional. This is George Anderson, and I'd like to talk with you about your personal situation. Thanks for coming into thecreditjungle.com. Have a great day.